Hey, welcome everyone to another week of the Focus TV. We're joined by Raymond Lyons, Cardell Dudley Jr., Wilson Tarpe Jr. Now, welcome to Season 6, Episode 27. Quite a bit to get through tonight, as always, but we'll be starting with the Washington Mystics. Ray, we talked about it the other day, but for this crowd right here, what's going on with the Mystics?
Um, well, some not so great news. In Sunday's game, Shakira Austin, she suffered a hip strain, so she's out for at least 3 weeks. So they said, she'll be sidelined for the next 3 weeks. Then she'll be reevaluated at that point. But it was during a loss to the New York Liberty, um, a game in which they started out, on fire. They came out guns blazing. They started the game out on a 13-0 run. And but as the game went on, the Liberty kind of found their footing and were able to eke out the win. Man, it was just kind of the same things that have played the Mystics at times. Just some defensive lapses down the stretch, some missed free throws. They went 1 for 4 from the line during a huge stretch in the fourth quarter, which allowed the Liberty to push the game to overtime. And yeah, and then offensively, the Liberty just came alive. Sabrina Ionescu, man, she just woke up and she's went unconscious at one point. Her confidence was through the roof, and she just made the Mystics pay. Courtney Vandersloot, she made some key plays down the stretch as well. Um, yeah, man, the Mystics they just couldn't finish them off, but and there were some positives. Ariel Atkins, she's starting to look like herself as each game goes by. This was her one of the best offensive games of her career. She was 6 for 7 from three. I believe that's a career high for her. And she was just lights out, man. She started the game. We already knew what type of time she was on from tip, and and she pretty much kept it up throughout. Brittany Sykes played well. Natasha Cloud, she did her thing. But especially losing Shakira and Elena was kind of she wasn't as dominant as she normally is, but that's due to in part on what she had to deal with on the other end, covering Breonna Stewart, who the Mystics were able to contain for the most part. But yeah, Sabrina Ionescu, yeah, she just got going, and then Banaja Laney hit some timely threes as well. So so yeah, man, it was a tough one, because for much of the first half, the Mystics were in complete control. But the Liberty, they just started getting more aggressive offensively. Started getting to the line more. They got 29 free throws, to the Mystics 18, and in the game that was decided by 1 point. So yeah, man, and they abused the Mystics on the glass. That was a huge part of their victory. They out rebounded them 45-29 and had 14 offensive rebounds, which led to some second chance opportunities. So that's something the Mystics are going to have to clean up. Of course, that mission gets a little bit harder with Shakira down for the next 3 weeks. But hopefully by committee they can make up for her absence. They play Atlanta tomorrow night. Atlanta they got some size as well, so we're going to see immediately with them trying to figure that out. Looks like with basically one of their best players out. So yeah, man. Hopefully they can rebound. They'll be at home, so the home crowd should give them a lift. Um, but yeah, man. But you know, when the season started, it was the front court that was kind of doing the heavy lifting and carrying them. But the backcourt starting to pick up as well. So and it's just the timing sucks with Shakir's injury, but hopefully with Sykes, Atkins, and Cloud kind of running in the form, they can make up for absence.
All right, from one basketball team in the district to another. We had NBA draft last week. Cardell, talk about what the Wizards have been up to. Well, what the Wizards did in the draft, what they're up to, what they're looking forward to, and whatnot. Now that the draft has indeed passed.
Well, if you've been following us, we kind of touched on it during the draft late, draft night late, and they traded up to the seventh pick in the draft to select Bilal Coulibaly. The prospect out of France who actually played with the #1 pick, Victor Wembanyama, on the same team. This trade, followed rumors that OKC was trying to leapfrog the Wizards to take the French prospect. So, the trade may end up in the long run working out for the Wizards. He's still a bit raw, but the talent you can see, the talent to be able to impact both ends, the professionalism you can already see oozing out of him, even though he's only 18. And that's what you kind of get with the overseas guys. It's a common thing when you see a lot of the international players that have dominated the league over the last, 5 to 10 years. They all come in, they're professional, and they're down to work on top of being crazy talented. So that's also always a good thing to see, early before they get to the court and show us what they got. He said Jordan Poole reached out to him to welcome him to the team and looking forward to working with him. He said he's a 6'8" kid. He had a growth spurt during the summer, not last summer, but the summer before that. He went from about 6'1", 6'2" to 6'8", and he said he started looking at Paul George and any two-way guys where they play defense and can do a lot of things offensively. Those are the guys he tend to study and look at. But he directly mentioned Paul George on draft night, which is good. Listen, if he can reach that and stay healthy and stay on the court, the Wizards would take that. I'm pretty sure the entire DC, the fan base, would take that, man. There's no question, man. So, but it's a long way to go before he can get to that level. Right now, it's about the work. See him in summer league. Excited to see him with that. He's been at the practice facility already, getting, acclimated, getting ready to, getting comfortable and stuff like that. So we'll see what he does in Vegas, man. I'm excited to see what he does. They cleared out everything. I'm hearing Kuz is being courted by the Mavs and stuff, so it's probably only a matter of time before he's gone. So it's going to be a new wave for sure next season, man. And, eager to see it, but yeah, I like what I've seen out the kid, just studying film on him, everything. Like I said, if he can match his potential, he has a chance. And in the East, with the Tatums, the Browns, the Jimmys, Middleton stays with the Bucks. It's a lot of, Orlando, they got some promising wings down there, Banchero and all those guys. Even the guy in this rookie class, the guy got drafted by the Hornets, Miller, if he reaches his potential or not, you're gonna need somebody that's gonna have to rumble with the wings to get out the East. It just is what it is, man. So, we'll see how that unfolds with his growth. Also, another story about the Wizards that it's kind of gaining a little buzz that may catch everyone's attention. Monumental Sports Entertainment is considering moving the Wizards and Capitals to Crystal City, near Amazon's HQ2 headquarters. This is their second headquarters. Less than 2 years ago, Monumental Sports completed a $70 million renovation of Capital One, which opened in 1997. But now, founder and CEO Ted Leonsis is reportedly in talks with Virginia officials to possibly move his teams, the Wizards and Capitals, to Crystal City. It was first reported by the Washington Post. Discussions also include the Washington Mystics, who now play in Southeast DC. The idea could be possibly, a tactic. Negotiation tactic for Leonsis to have DC officials use public money to, in a sense, renovate Capital One. But regardless, it seems like there's some strong talks going on. Some people said that it's also a motivation because the uptick in crime and Chinatown is playing a factor. But if you grew up around here, crime has always been in DC. That's nothing new. They have the resources to hire more policemen and law enforcement to make sure everything is all right. But that's a surprise that they're having this talks, especially so soon, especially with the, they just renovating it, putting that much money towards it in the last couple of years. Just what are y'all thoughts on that? To have this come out, especially with them kind of hitting the button, as Wilson would say. We'll start with you, Ray.
Yeah, that's that. When I first saw it coming down the pipe, that was kind of out of left field, man. Me personally, it wouldn't even feel right You know,
Yeah.
that just sounds awkward. Like, I mean, I know the Bullets were in Landover before, but it was still like closely connected to DC, and they've been directly in the city for a very long time now. So yeah, I don't know, man, but those aren't my decisions to make. You know, I do think I think it would have a negative effect if they made the move. To be perfectly honest, you know, where they're located now is right in the middle of the city, downtown. Like, you know, yeah, I just don't think people would be motivated to travel out to Northern Virginia to watch the Wizards play. And you know, it's not like they're winning. So if they were, you know, a contending team, I think that would be a different story. You kind of get more leeway to make rash decisions like that when you know, when the demand is high, you're in a prime position. But yeah, man, I don't know. Yeah, maybe it's just a ploy, like you said, to kind of get some funding without having to dig into your own pockets. But yeah, I'm not a fan.
Wilson.
Yeah, I think it hurts if they do it, for sure. Like we already know, you know, what the commander said, waiting for that to officially go through. And, you know, there's been a threat of that before. You know, with them moving before you know, the, is it Josh Harris bought the team? Before that, you talk about possibly moving what would be left in the city, professional sports wise, if they were to do that. I think multiple things could be true. I think it's a negotiating tactic as well, something that could happen. One thing that's always been weird to me is kind of like people have accepted it and know it, but if you don't pay attention to hockey, the Caps practice in Arlington. You know, Ted also owns them. Like they practice in Arlington if they've been in Arlington for a while, which is kind of weird. Boston and Capital One aren't exactly right next to each other. They're not that far away, but that's why I just think multiple things could be true. Because I'm sure Ted's probably, you know, the reason that that's happened in Boston owns the Caps. The Caps have practiced it forever. It hasn't changed. You've had you just talked about the renovations, the Capital One or whatever. They've stayed at Boston. That's, you know, even if you Google it real quick, that's the home of the Washington Capitals practice facility or practice arena, whatever you want to call it. That's technically their home as far as practice goes. But yeah, I think it would just leave a void. You know, I've been here since '97. That'd just be super weird to not have basketball in the city on a professional standpoint. It's kind of weird. Or just to
Yeah, I
have it in
just
Virginia. Sorry, just having in Virginia is weird.
I mean, you know, they being here all our lives, we, you know, remember when they was at the Capitol Center, you know, but I'm trying to, you gotta understand, you gotta be born and raised here to kind of understand the basketball community in this area is DC and PG County. See what I'm saying? You gotta, if you gonna have an NBA arena, I mean, an NBA team, WNBA team, you kind of want to keep them in that pocket because the basketball culture will always support it uh, one way or another. It seemed like the more we go along with sports at all levels, especially in this area, it seemed like it's starting to cater to the haves. They want to move to the area where the people have and cater more to them and get the money and then make it harder for the have-nots who are really the loyal, die-hard fans that will still rock with you no matter what. They're going to be pissed, they're going to complain, but they'll still rock with you, whereas the haves, it's a casual thing. You know, they may catch a game or they're going to go to the show. I just don't understand it. That's why I do believe, like Wilson said, I think it's both. I think, he is considering it because of what he already has the capital there. He already understands how it can work. You know what I'm saying? He has a gauge already. The Mystics, even the run they had when they won the championship, that's DC and PG County. That's the energy that was in that building. Northern Virginia don't have that. They don't have that, man. You know what I'm saying? That's why they come to DC and Maryland to come Rumble. It is what it is. I think people are missing the boat, man. I really do. You already got the Commanders on FedEx, and out of all the pro sports teams, if it's a team throughout the history of this city that represents that city, it's the Commanders, and y'all took that away. You know what I'm saying? Y'all could easily just rebuilt a new stadium at RFK or just tore that down and build something else up. I think a lot of owners, because of the money that keep going up across the league, so I just think they're trying to move their businesses in a place where it's more convenient for them in a sense also. You know what I mean? Whereas they can just walk out the crib and take a little short trip and it'd be convenient for them and stuff like that. I know it will hurt. Man. Virginia is a different state. You know what I'm saying? It's just different over there, man. It is when you cross the bridge, it's different. I'm gonna watch what I say, man. But look, I get the little crime portion of it. Look, if you want that energy, you gotta keep it in the city. That's what it's for. Their name, the Washington Wizards, for a reason. Not the Northern Virginia Wizards, not Alexandria Wizards. It's the Washington Wizards. How in the hell is the nation capital not gonna have any damn pro basketball team, no football team, like in the city? Out of all the cities, that city don't have it. What's next? The Nationals gonna move? You see what I'm saying? It's just, come on, man. It's not this hard, man. But I get it's business, it's politics. If the city don't want to rock with it, as far as upgrading the facility, which is very important if you're trying to attract free agents and keep your players in town and stuff like that. You know, it is what it is. You know, you ain't gotta tell us, man. Look, if you go to FedEx, if you go to some of these other football arenas, you be like, oh yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's night and day. So if you want to compete, you gotta keep your facilities up to par. It just is what it is, man. The Mets has been able to get some key free agents over the years because they have one of the best facilities in the league. Them, the Aces, you know what I mean? It's just facts, and you know, we gonna see how it go, man. But yeah, that's definitely something to keep an eye on, and because now he has the reason to. Because now, with them completely starting over, this is the time to try to make that move.
If there ever was a time, it's right now, like you said. Like, this is technically ground zero after everything that just happened. What else you got to lose if that's your train of thought? What else you got to lose?
And I look, Crystal City is a beautiful area. Like how they upgraded Tyson's and all that, man. It's going off the chain, but that's not a sporting spot, man. It's just not, dog. And look, crime will always be here. There's always gonna be people up to no good, man. You can't run from that. You just secure the best you can, and just inform people about how to move and stuff like that, man. Like the wolves gonna go where there's food. It's just how it go, man. And the food is gonna be there now. They just gonna go across the bridge. You act like they ain't got subways and Uber and stuff to make moves out there. That ain't gonna change nothing.
I was gonna say also, as a Virginia resident, stuff happens here.
And that's I was trying to get to that. I was trying to
look. I got you. I'm gonna say it. Stuff happens here quite a bit. If you're on the side of the bridge, no, it's not some wonderful place where the roads are paved gold and nothing happens. No, the difference might be after you do something. Fairfax is about that life. That might be the difference. Outside of that, that's the difference. Like, and even Arlington, bless its heart, you can ask people that live in Arlington. There are good parts and bad parts of everywhere. But Virginia is not crime free. Like, that's what we're not gonna do at all. There's a bunch of crap that happens in Northern Virginia. People just pick and choose what they want to hear or whatever. But again, to state the main point, like you said, that's a heck of a void. If that were to happen, that's a heck of a void. And then that would leave it.
Concerts coming to town, comedy shows. Like we saw Kevin, when Maxwell returned for the first time with Anthony Hamilton and Joe. Me and my wife went there. That was at Capital One. They're going to be in Arlington. That takes money from the city. that's already hurting for money. Well, always seem to be hurting for money. You feel what I'm saying? So it's just, come on now. We're in Georgetown. They play their games in Cameroon. They're gonna be playing in Arlington. You serious? Come on now.
It's one of those things where both parties need to be adults and figure this one out because the losses are huge for both sides. But for the most part, the city's going to be punished the most if that does in fact happen. Because if you just think about it right now, just across sports right now, there's like 2 teams that practice inside the city. Like, let that sink in. Like 2 teams that practice inside the actual city. The Caps practice in Arlington. DC United's out in Loudoun. The Commanders even further in VA. Like they're far to me. They're far.
Ashburn. Come on now. You say Ashburn, it's like toes and
man, don't get me started on the toes. But again, how do you have the nation's capital with that many professional sports teams? And I'm cool with teams practicing outside the city. You can't have all your teams not being this. That just look, man. Virginia doesn't need a pro sports team. It just sounds weird.
Sounds
weird.
I'm gonna leave it with this. Look at the Golden State Warriors this season when they moved it from the Bay to San Francisco, and Steph Curry and them boys. They in the middle of a dynasty. Steph Curry and them boys had to tell the crowd, "Come on, get up. We making a run. Get up." That's what you're gonna have there, dog. Whereas in the Bay, that joint was rocking. They ain't need much. Steph hit a couple threes. They already on their feet, ready to go off. That's a true home crowd. The halves, they be all right. They can afford to make that trip. They'll be fine. You know what I'm saying? But you need that real energy. And without that real energy, you don't have a real home arena. It's just facts.
That's a great point. And that's them in the middle of a dynasty having to do that. That's almost embarrassing. You got one of your franchise's greatest players out here like, can y'all please wake up? If you don't mind, please partake in this moment. We would appreciate you strongly if you would stand up and support us at this time. If it's all right with you guys. I know you paid a lot of money for your seats, but you might as well enjoy the game now that you're here. Like, that's crazy. That's literally nuts, but the times that we're in. We're going to take our first break. When we get back, update you guys with DC United. Then we'll see what Cardell has for us in Rapid Fire. Again, it's that time of year, extended rounds of Rapid Fire until stuff gets going. You guys know how the year goes. It goes crazy, it slows down for a little bit, then it picks back up. We're swamped again. So we're going to enjoy this extended round of Rapid Fire. And there's also so much to talk about. You're watching Focus TV. We will be taking our first break. Welcome back to the Focus TV. As promised, going to talk a little DC United with you all. The last time we spoke, they're coming off back-to-back losses. This was a little bit different for them this time. They took on FC Cincinnati, which was atop the league, atop the East. And as you guys see, this is how they got things started at home this past Saturday night. Matthias Klick tries to play the ball into Benteke. The very large Belgian misses it. Paulo Santos is there to put it away. After that, before this game, DC United had been on the other end of a team scoring early in games and not recovering. It was great to see them get off to a good start at home and then them continue to build on that, which is the wonderful thing. They got that first goal in the 9th minute, then in the 16th, off a set piece that originally looked like it was thwarted. Donovan Pines went up. He headed the ball from the near post from the far post to the near post, and DeHome, was there to take on the ball, fired a shot to the keeper. Keeper makes a great save, but Williams was there to knock in a rebound. You guys are gonna see that right now. Again, set piece. DC United with the size advantage they have with Benteke, Donovan Pines, very large young man getting up right there. Good stop by the keeper. If you're any soccer player in the box, all you can ask for the ball rolling oh so slowly to you, just keep your hips down. That's all you want to do. You don't want to be the guy in that situation, empty net pretty much, and you sail it. But it was a good job by DC United. Again, credit to Donovan Pines for getting up over the top and getting the ball to the far post. DC United goes up 2-0. Lewis O'Brien gets a good look in the 29th minute to put them up 3-0, but he does miss. They would take a 3-0 lead in the 42nd minute off just really simple soccer. Tyler Miller gets the ball. It's a goal kick. He plays it up top to their aerial threat, aka Christian Benteke. Benteke goes up, heads the ball to a running Dahone. He takes a touch and then simply places it between the keeper's legs. See this in just a minute. This is a shot from Lewis O'Brien. Gets space, no one closes out. Just a little wide. Good opportunity. But I just want you guys to see this. Right off the goal kick, and Benteke goes up and does what they pay him to do. Very easy for Dahome. As a keeper, worst feeling in the world, right through the wickets. But it's 3-0. DC United would get several other chances in this game. They wouldn't increase the lead. Cincinnati did get a couple quality chances. I think their best chance came in the 68th minute, but the ball went off the post. FC Cincinnati, they didn't quit, but they weren't able to get on the board. So it's a good win for DC to get back on the winning side of things. They kept a clean sheet. Again, a 3-0 win over FC Cincinnati, which was the first place team in the East. They'll play Saturday on the road against Nashville SC. Some other news: forward Christian Benteke and keeper Tyler Miller were among the 26 players selected for the 2023 All-Star Game, which takes place July 19th against Arsenal FC. The game takes place at Audi Field. So shout out to both of them for making the All-Star team. Again, just chances right here. Just couldn't capitalize. We saw that weird goal from Donovan Pines a couple weeks ago where he got close to the keeper and was able to kind of just knock it loose and get into the goal. That didn't happen this time. But for DC United, back on the winning side of things, that's all they can really ask for. Try to continue to climb the standings. Something to keep an eye on as well is that second transfer window still open. They might still go out and make a couple moves. There's a couple things been rumored. Waiting to see if anything comes to fruition. Again, solid win. Got a chance to make it back-to-back results this week, but it was great to see them start off on the front foot, not just creating several chances, but finishing them, and then just holding things down for the win. We're going to take our second break. When we get back, we're going to get into rapid fire. You watching the Focus TV? Welcome back to the Focus TV. As promised, here's rapid fire.
Yeah, we're gonna start on basketball side of things. The NBA legends, matter of fact. Dennis Rodman is one of the best role players to ever suit up in the NBA. 5-time champion, all-time great defender, rebounder. Clearly he knows the game, but he says some very difficult words regarding one Larry Legend. During a recent appearance on Vlad TV, Rodman suggested that Larry Bird wouldn't make it in today's NBA and would need to play overseas. He also said he thinks Nuggets center Nikola Jokic is better than the Celtics legend. Quote, if Larry Bird played in this era, I think he'd be in Europe. Today's world, oh, hell no. There's no way. I'm not downplaying him because he's a great player at that time, just like I was. But no, there's no way. I think the kid from Denver is way better than him. Oh boy. Just what are your thoughts on the worm just going in on Larry Legend out the blue?
I mean, it's only so much I could pay attention to somebody talking about basketball on Vlad TV to begin with. But but yeah, man, like Dennis Rodman knows better. Like I'm not giving this any energy whatsoever, man, because he saw that up close. He know what it is. So yeah, this is just white noise to me. I really wish that all these type of conversations and remarks would cease, period. But I mean, here we are. People need something to talk about. I don't know, man. Maybe the years of hard living starting to catch up. Who knows? But yeah, that's complete nonsense. I think Larry Bird would be fine today. Just a hunch, but I mean, we saw the damage, and yeah, there's no way that he's not every bit as good as he was before. So yeah, this is a non-issue, man. I'm not paying attention to that. Like I said, you don't want to you're on a gossip blog talking about basketball. I pay that no mind.
Wilson.
I just hurt people. Larry must have did something. I don't know. Clearly, whatever Larry did last, you see the picture I went to find. Someone doesn't look happy. Someone looks great. Someone looks very pleased by how things are going. Look, man, if Luke is out here not in shape doing what it is that he's doing, Joker was giving these people problems before he got in tip-top shape. Don't play defense in this era. What are we talking about? What are we truly talking about? I'm not trying to be mean or anything else, but what are we honestly talking about? Like, Larry's, and the funny part about it, Larry's who some of these 6'9", 6'10" guys wish they had his game. When people get to talking about, he was the living embodiment of the ideas and the lies that people throw on some of these guys that come out nowadays just because they're 6'9", 6'10". Except he did it, like, on a regular basis. But it was just Dennis being Dennis. Glad he's doing okay, but yeah, I'm with Ray. Just okay.
Well, one, if he couldn't play today, I guess because of the athleticism, because the damn sure ain't the size and skill and toughness and IQ. He murdered a whole lot of more athletic wings back then. Whole lot of them. I don't want to throw him on the bus, but Dominique Wilkins, woof, he got the worst of it. But number two, I'm gonna end it with this. Larry Bird averages, I have this, against the Pistons over his career, 53 games. He averages 25.1 points, 10.3 rebounds, 6.5 assists. Larry Bird versus the Detroit Pistons in the regular season record, 40-13. In the playoffs, 22.7 points, 9.9 rebounds, 6.3 assists. And a lot of those wars came later when his back was breaking down. Still couldn't guard him. And they went 12-12. The man damn near averaging the triple-double against all of that. Yeah, man. So, look, man, I got a lot of respect for what Rodman accomplished and whatnot, but this just proving the fact how these dudes be trying to stand on if you didn't play in the league, you can't understand stuff. And I'm like, man, if you just got no basketball, there's no way in hell you could just say that. And for a former NBA player to even mention that is either bitterness or, like Ray said, some other things are catching up. His mental's starting to go, or amnesia's creeping in because he should know better. Because he definitely got a lot of that. Moving on. Ryan Russillo confirms on the Bill Simmons podcast that former Spalding and Villanova standout Cam Whitmore fell in the NBA draft allegedly due to Kyle Neptune, head coach of Villanova, not talking him up and speaking poorly about him to GMs. If this is true, Wilson, start with you. What are your thoughts on this?
Oh, if this is true? Oh, that's disgusting, and I hope you enjoy coaching at Villanova. Dude, what are you doing? What are you doing? And again, we were all trying to figure out why that young man's name wasn't called early that evening. And it has nothing to do with the people that got selected. Salute to all of them. However, after you got past, cool, you drop out the top 10, I think everyone's like, all right, maybe. I think everybody was still had their wits about them. You got to 14, 15, 16, everyone was like, all right, okay, what happened? Because we don't understand it. And then I'm sure we'll probably look at, I don't know, a couple weeks into the NBA season and be like, we're going to go back here again. What happened? What did you do? Because at some point, you get later in the lottery and the further you get in the first round, take Cam Whitmore's name off it, just what player X brings to the table, you select that with a top 20 pick. Just the physicals. You select that. Unless there's something crazy going on medically. And even then, you're selected. This is nuts. But if this is true, man, his coaching career is that's tough. That's the one, it's foul to do. And then two, it's like almost career suicide. What are you doing out here? Right. And then the damage to that kid's stock. Because if this is what it was, bro, that young man lost money off something he didn't do anything of.
Right.
Yeah, man. If that's true, then that's disgusting. And I don't see how you can ever recruit another player for the rest of the time you have a job. Um, yeah, that's. I mean, what will possess somebody to do that? If it's not true, and Rosillo would say that, then shame on him because like, I'm sure everybody would have the same reaction we're having right now. Um, so yeah, man, that's a tough one. Because yeah, I'm sure we all were in collective shock watching him continue to slide, and and Houston might be thanking Rosillo, or not Rosillo, but the coach, because if they got that at number 20, I mean, you can't ask for nothing more. But yeah, that's terrible, man. Hopefully, hopefully that's not the case. It would definitely suck if something like that gets out that's not entirely true. And if it is true, then shame on him. Uh, but yeah, either way, irreparable damage has been done. So I mean, you can't put the toothpaste back in the tube once it comes out. Like that's just tough all around. And even it's going to be hard to beat them allegations regardless, like because it's out there. So if it's true or not, like that just sucks for everyone involved. It sucks for Cam because he had to. I'm sure he expected his name to be called much earlier than it was. Um, Sucks for the coach if that's not the case because now he has to defend his character. If it is the case, then hopefully he gets his just desserts. But yeah, that's just a tough situation all around, man.
Let's just say it's true. I think if he did do that and it's true, I think it's related to Cam shutting it down early and even before the season ended, they prepared for the draft. I think that pissed him off. But even if that was the case, man, you keep your anger within because it's especially considering it's still going to help you. He's going to be drafted high. That's something you could use in recruiting. I just had one of them players go in the lottery, blah blah. And you should also understand being a brother. You don't get in the way of another brother, young brother, uh, having a huge opportunity to not only change his life, but his family life. Uh, you just don't do that. And it's not like he shut it. Look, I'm all for players finishing, which you start, but it's not like he didn't shut it down for some BS reason. He shut it down because he didn't want to get hurt, which were his draft stock. Couldn't work out. So the very thing that ended up happening would happen. He was trying to avoid that. So it's just sad that if this is true, like I keep saying, allegedly, and it's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt unless Cam come out and say, "Look, man, that wasn't the case. Y'all need to chill." Then that's the only way this can kind of just die down. It's nothing that two can say because it's out there now. But yeah, it's gonna hurt in recruiting, man, because that's gonna be the first thing parents ask. Like, yo, well, you gotta get into it with my son. Y'all clash. What you gonna do? See what I'm saying? Like and then rival schools gonna use that. Why you going to Villanova? Big East. Why you going to Villanova, man? You gonna shit on you. You're gonna hurt you. You're gonna hurt you if you become a pro player. You can't become a pro there. You can't succeed there. And he's also to a rocky start because they were 500 basically. So, and the Big East done got even rough. Patino up at St. John's up there recruiting his ass off. Cooley down here on him. He getting it done. It's getting real. So this ain't good, man. Like if it ain't true, I'll be like, yo, Cam, you got help, bro. You got to clear my name, dog. They jamming me up out here. I don't know where the hell this came from. But I can also, being a former college player myself, I can see where college coach could be pissed and like, yeah, I'm done, dog. I'm getting ready for the draft. Then leaving them hanging because it's hard to win after that. You lose a talent like that off the floor. So it's going to be interesting to see how this goes and where this goes. NFL side of things, Travis Kelce, Chiefs tight end, says he understands Jamar Chase wanting to stick up for his quarterback, but by dissing Patrick Mahomes, he better be ready to back up his bold talk. The Kansas City Chiefs star tight end weighing in on a Cincinnati Bengals star wide receiver Pat Who comment this week on his New Heights podcast that he co-hosts with his brother, Philadelphia Eagles center Jason Kelce. Quote, "It is what it is, dog. Who doesn't love some good locker room banter, man?" Kelce said, "Shout out to Jamal Chase for holding it down for his QE, but don't you ever disrespect Pat Mahomes now. If you want to talk your ish, pimp. Just better back it up." The back and forth between the AFC rivals started after Bengals quarterback Joe Burrow said this month that Mahomes was the best quarterback in the NFL and that there's no argument to make until someone can knock him off. Quote, "I thought it was a little bold," Kelce said. "Mahomes is a two-time league MVP, two-time Super Bowl MVP. To say Pat Who is like, I don't know." Jason Kelce said he thought it was a little disrespectful. Quote, "Pat didn't like it." Mahomes tweeted a picture of himself at the Chiefs ring ceremony June 15th. "Glad you guys had fun doing that," wearing his 2 Super Bowl rings with the declaration, "That's who," he said. Oh, man. Pissed off Mahomes, never a good thing. Wilson, your thoughts on Mr. Chase?
Look, man, you're still looking up at them. Shut up until you beat them. In a meaningful game, too. Like, I don't care about regular season. In the postseason. Until you knock them off, I don't want to hear any of this. And cool, you can support your quarterback. Do it loudly, quietly, but to be like Pat Who is just ridiculous. 2, and I said this last year and I meant it with all my heart. Last year was the year to get him. You didn't do it. That was the year. That was the adjustment year without Tyreek, with a whole bunch of issues around the roster. That was a year. Now this is the second draft after not having Tyreek Hill. Think their roster's a little bit better. And you guys still haven't beat him in the postseason. What are we even talking? Just keep working. But, Bengals, Bungles, whatever.
Right.
Yeah, man. Like Wilson said, man, you're looking up at them. Like, that's just crazy, man. Like, I'm all for talking trash in sports and being competitive and all that. What I'm not for is being delusional and stupid. Like now you got to deal with that on the field. So good luck. And then your secondary got to deal with that. You don't even have to directly deal with it. Dog, you talking about something you don't even have a hand in. Like, come on, dog. Just chill out, man. And now, don't you have a subpar season yourself? Because, and I mean, and not that I don't believe Jamar Chase will, because he's incredibly talented. But yeah, dog. And now you done already gave them bulletable material. Should y'all meet them in the playoffs, which is highly likely. So yeah, good luck, man. I hope you're ready. Yeah, I don't get that one. Yeah, like Wilson said, man, you can support your quarterback without being outlandish. Like, people got to understand what's what the deal is. So yeah, he made that bed. Hope it's comfortable, buddy, because it's gonna get rough if y'all see them in the playoffs.
Boy, damn. Now we gotta deal with these fools, man. These dudes gonna be on some murder, death, kill, 72-10 Warriors. 73-9 Warriors Warriors with KD type ish, man. Like, I think it's just a reflection of where we are. People just love to talk. Like, he could have easily just said, "Look, man, Patrick Mahomes a bad boy. I'm rolling with my guy. I'm rolling with my guy tonight," and they've been done with it. He went Mahomes, who the dude that done whooped your let that dude. Like, I don't. It's just a weird time. I just don't get people like why. Slim, like, when someone gets the W, they hold the bragging rights. You can't say nothing. Nowadays, they try to make up something just to cater to their insecurity and stuff. Man, it's just wild, dog. Like, I ain't gonna say his name right. We saw that practice on Saturday. My man got destroyed. He was trying to find every loophole to duck that you got destroyed. We all saw it, dog. Just admit you got destroyed. Then he wanted to show them the footage. He still was arguing against the footage. Then he finally just had. Then a couple of teammates had to find like, dog, he just bust your ass, dog. Just. And he felt the vibe. He couldn't even, no one was with him. And he just like, yeah, okay, fine. It took all that though. But I'm starting to see this disease spread amongst too many people in society, man. It's ridiculous when someone wins, like the Denver Nuggets. You can't say nothing to the Denver Nuggets unless you're like a LeBron and stuff because you've done it more than them. You've done it too many times. But the rest of the league, be quiet. You can't say nothing. In the NFL, you can't say nothing to the Chiefs, though. They got the best quarterback, arguably the best player in the game. They got the best team. So now you have to really, and it's selfish because, like you said, he don't have to deal with that. The DBs got to deal with that, and they're gonna deal with a pissed off version because they're going to remember. And then when they destroy y'all and they score, and my Broncos been on the receiving end when it's like 4 touchdowns in a quarter. When you on the receiving end of that, and then the interview will come up to you and they talking about Pat who, and they just remind you what it is. That's when it's gonna look bad, especially if their defense holds you to like 3 points or something like that, and you don't even get off, man. It's just unnecessary, dog. Like what happened just working quietly and let your results show. Let the results show. You see what I'm saying? So, man, I don't know what's up with these young. Look, John, all these look at these young. Bro, that woof. And that is not the dude you want pissed off because he's vicious with it. He gonna put points up. There's no question about that. Like the Chiefs gonna score. I know that. Like you got to score with them, dog. And I'm not convinced that's going to happen. That's the problem. That's the problem right there, man. So if you don't put points up, you're not stopping them. So if you don't put points up, you have no chance. So I mean, we're good luck with that, man. It's unnecessary, but it is what it is. Sticking to the NFL side of things, Antonio Brown, Lord Jesus, blames Tom Brady for him not being in the NFL still. His last NFL game is a memorable one. The wide receiver removed his jersey and stormed off the field during the game against the Jets at the end of the 2021 season. Buccaneers were down 14 points to the Jets late in the third quarter when the shirtless Brown decided it was time to head to the locker room. Tampa Bay released Brown a few days later while the wide receiver contended that the team forced him to play through an ankle injury. He hasn't played since. Brown addressed the situation Saturday on Tyreek Hill. It needed to be said podcast. And the former Buccaneers stood by his claim that the team expected him to play through injury. Quote, "We about to play the Jets, and this week I am really hurt," he said. "So I'm taking pictures to the coach like, if we're going to win the Super Bowl, I'm going to need to take these last 2 weeks of the regular season at least to recover so I can give you my best. We here to win the Super Bowl." So the coach, Bruce Arians, was like, "Hey, man, we ain't resting." In fact, Brown said that Tom Brady enticed him to play against the Jets by promising him targets. Quote, "Tom called me like, yo, this week, man, the Jets, man, they sweet, man. I'm going to hit you with like 10 to 12 targets." Brown said, "So he going to gas me up so you know me. That's all I need to hear. Like, yo, you going to throw me the ball?" Brown described his relationship with Brady as a football relationship in the podcast, saying that he and the former quarterback didn't have much in common besides the game. While Brown claims he doesn't harbor much ill will toward Brady for not being a closer friend, he still believes Brady enticed him to play while injured. Quote, "Tom Brady hit me up like, yo, this is a big week," Brown said. "I know my itch effed up, but if you going to gas me like that, why not? So I dressed up, suited up, and once I got to New York, I already felt the bad energy. Now, nearly 18 months after the incident, Brown still believes the Buccaneers handled this situation poorly. They treated me like I was a dog," Brown said. Ray, what are your thoughts on Mr. Brown feeling like he was done wrong by the Bucs and Mr. Brady?
So you don't want to play because you hurt, but if you get in targets, you willing to play hurt? Like, what is it? That doesn't make sense, first of all. But second of all, what's that word, Wilson, you always say that's absent accountability? I don't it's non-existent in this case. Yeah, if it's Tom Brady fault, then whatever, man. If that's what he needs to sleep at night, then cool. But you got a long track record, buddy. I don't think it's Tom Brady's fault. And it's weird that he would say that because Tom Brady was the reason he was there in the first place. So, like, I don't get it, man. We already know he be on some other stuff anyway. So this is another one of those. I'm taking this with a grain of salt type deals. Yeah, go back to being president of Donda Sports, my guy. Because yeah, his NFL career is probably over. He's burned enough bridges to where his talent is not going to be able to save him. Which is sad because he's incredibly talented. But yeah, dude, you gotta look in the mirror at some point. It can't be everybody else's fault every single time.
Wilson.
That A word is undefeated against Mr. Brown, boy. Undefeated. He refuses to mess with that word. Yeah, these words mean nothing. We all saw what you ended up doing. If you were really hurt, you just wouldn't play. Bruce Arians, for the most part, a lot of players' accounts, is a player's coach. So I don't know how we're dragging Bruce Arians into this. And no disrespect to you, at that time, it's not like you're Mike Evans. Like, I'm not trying to be mean, but if you played, you played. If you didn't, you didn't. You're not Mike Evans. I don't think anybody truly cared that deeply. I think you did. I think if my memory serves correctly, something was tied to your contract incentives-wise because they gave you an incentive-laden contract because you weren't always there, sir. And they try to protect themselves. And I think you thought you were going to get the targets to get the incentives for it. I got to go back and look. But I remember that's what came up around that time. But whatever it ended up being, just I don't think anybody cares anymore, Mr. Brown. One. Two, there's a list of stuff that you did that you refuse to be accountable for. So I refuse to just think that this is any different. And yeah, I don't even know. Again, Mike Evans was there. I don't get the whole Tom Brady being like, "Yo, we need you." I don't. He was throwing to the what's the white boy on he throws to Scotty Miller. Like I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't get this one.
You know how Jordan handle things when another disgruntled teammate of his be trying to go at him. He just don't give him the time of day at all, and he just goes away, which I know burns him up even more. That's what he deserves, man. Again, just like the last question we was answering to, which I'm saying accountability. I don't understand why it's so hard for people to just look in the mirror. It's really true what they say. The truth will set you free, and the truth is, you've been a total a-hole, and he caught up to you, and that's why you're in the position you're in now. And that has nothing to do with Tom Brady. If anything, you've been ultra disrespectful. Lost the Super Bowl, we've tied or whatever. Then he tried to go at his wife indirectly, something crazy, which is you breaking a man law. Like, that's gonna help anything. I mean, we still ain't heard from John Gruden since the BS happened. I don't even know where he at. Him and his brother. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just. And when he did all this stuff, man, you look on social media, a lot of people agree with him, including some athletes, some high-profile athletes. And my thing was, well, if you agree with him, why don't you do the same thing as your job, or with your team? Because you know better. You know where this is going to end up. So why are you gassing up this bad behavior? Like, I just feel like we're in a time where people just want to do and say whatever the hell they feel and want to do with no consequence. And I'm like, that only happens in like stupid shows, man. That's not reality. You're going to suffer consequence, and his consequence, unfortunately, he's going to be blackballed. He's blackballed forever. I'm not even sure if he's ever going to get in the Hall of Fame because people remember how much of an a-hole he was. And we know out of all the outside, maybe baseball, out of all the major sports, the sports that hold the league that holds you to that is definitely NFL. They don't forget. Like his great grandkids might have to accept that award, dog. Like that's how they gonna stick it to him because and he did this to himself, dog. He like where he said he was a Pittsburgh, he was a one dog, and that goes back to that. Do you know how much of an a-hole you gotta be for Mike Tomlin to give up on you? And you was nice as hell. Who's an advocate for helping brothers and stuff? Come on, bro. What are we doing here? But if Tom Brady's the reason, then he's the reason. Moving on to the W side of things. The Phoenix Mercury announced Sunday that they had fired head coach Vanessa Nygaard after the team 2-10 start this season. Nikki Blue has been named interim head coach. Nygaard was in her second season as the Mercury's head coach, having taken over for Sandy Brondello in January 2022 after Brondello left for the Liberty. Prior to coaching Phoenix, Nygaard spent a year as an assistant coach for the Aces and a decade as the head coach of the Windward High School girls basketball team in Los Angeles. Last season, Phoenix went 15-21 for the first time since the 2012 season that the Mercury lost over 20 games and lost in the first round of WNBA playoffs. So far this season, the Mercury had the worst record in the league. Wilson, firing on time?
They probably. I don't think they should have started the year with her. Talk about Nygaard. I'm gonna be honest. Like, it's, you knew you're getting BG back. I don't think she did that good of a job. I don't think she was that good after Brondello. Like, I think they went through it. Let's be honest. There was a severe drop off. I think it was kind of like not discussed as much as it should have been. But yeah, if it was me, we would have had a new coach heading into this year. Like, BG would have been back, and we would have had a new coach back. Like, clean start. Obviously, we know they didn't have BG last year. We know all the reasons as to why. That said, the rosters. We've seen other coaches, be a little bit better with less at times. Yeah, I don't know why. I hate when teams do that, no matter what the sport is. When you're really done with someone, but you start the year with them. If you were done with them after the year, just end it. Just end it, because if you're that easy, if you're that ready and comfortable to be done with it a couple weeks into the season, you easily could have did this at the end of the last season. But yeah, I'm not shocked. I wish Coach Blue the best in her opportunity and hope she makes the most of it.
Right.
Yeah, I'm with Wilson, man. I actually been waiting for that announcement in the off season, because, like you said, man, since she's taken over, it's been rocky as hell over there. The players weren't responding to her, and the results weren't there as well. So yeah, why throw 12 games down the drain? And even more, you got to go through the rest of the season with a substitute teacher. So yeah, I totally agree with Wilson, man. If you're at that point, just go ahead and rip the Band-Aid off. Like what's the likelihood of something miraculous happening where they turned around is the way you think they need to continue to be in that position? So yeah, they definitely should have handled this a long time ago. And yeah, it doesn't seem like any player on the roster or that was on the roster since her time there is unhappy about this. So that should tell you all you need to know right there. Typically when coaches let go, there's some show of support from somebody. That hasn't been the case. So yeah, man. I guess they figured it was that time, but yeah, you do it at this juncture, and it pretty much cripples the rest of the season.
Just some things to look at for the Mercury. They're 12th in the WNBA in points allowed, 88.4, and 10th in points scored, 77.2. They're last in defensive rating, 112.9, and 8th in offensive rating, 98.5. Looking at their team, they're fairly young. They have a lot of players between 22 and 29. And then you have the elder statesman. You have Brittany Griner still in her prime, so to speak, getting her feedback web from taking a year old. We all know Skylar's out, I think she's pregnant, And with Diana, 41, she ain't Diana no more. And that's one way I think she lost the team. I think her inexperience Looking at her resume, she only had 1 year as an assistant with the Aces. The rest were high school basketball, which brings into question like how you get the job that quick, or more other assistants that been in the W forever. How did you get that? That needs to be checked out. Uh, and also, sometimes, I say it all the time about the Wizards. You got to have those tough conversations, and it ain't just among teammates. The coaches that look, Diana, got to come off the bench, baby. Hey, man, look, it is what it is. Ain't no disrespect, but you ain't DT. Mother Time has definitely caught up. You weren't the best defender to begin with when you're using your prime. Now you're just food. But before, you could torch the world and damn sure make sure that gap was big as far as what they did to you compared to what you're doing to them. It ain't the case. She's averaging 15. And she's shooting 36% from the field, 25% from three. I mean, dog, she's shooting 7 3-pointers a game and only shooting 25% of them. You got Griner down there, dog. Turn the ball over on nearly 4 a game. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's bad, bro. It's bad. And I know the youngest looking at her like, respect, OG, but you ain't got it no more. But we got to kind of stay in our role, stay in our place while you do that. It's not. It is what it is, man. And I don't think she was the type to have that confrontation because she wanted to keep her job, but it still cost you a job, which is why I'm like, as a coach, you got to do what you got to do. If they're going to fire you, fire you. But at least go out when you can look in the mirror and be like, hey, it is what it is. You don't want no regrets. She going to have regrets, man. So, she should have. She should have been checked that, man. And you could just tell the joy ain't there. Brittany don't look like she having fun and stuff. And she back. You know what I'm saying? Like she the morale is just different, man. So yeah, it's going to have to be changes, man. We're gonna see what the new coach do. But it's just bad, man. I'm looking at the roster construction. It's a bunch of point guards on there. You know what I'm saying? And just some bigs. Like it's like Brittany B. Wilt. You know what I'm saying? But it's hard to do that because the league is so deep with them unicorns and stuff like that now compared to when she came in. You need help. You definitely need help, man. She don't have that. So it's just a bad basketball team. That's why they're the worst, man. It is what it is. So she definitely got to take that L. 2-10 is unacceptable. But ownership and fans got to understand right now is Brittany in and who them other chicks. It's just like that right now, including DT. You know what I mean? So, no disrespect. It's probably time. She's 41, man. It is what it is.
Look, it comes for us all. Like when it's time, it's time. And again, maybe a more functional franchise at the time after last season. All that stuff should have been in order going into this season. And whoever it may be, it's about ownership. Whoever the coach, whoever it may be, should have that conversation with DT and have that upfront conversation. Maybe she doesn't come back. Who knows? She's either accepts the role or doesn't. But to waste 12 games in a short season, like you know how long WNBA season is, you can't afford to just waste 12 games.
Bruh, what if Tabal was the GM? How that conversation?
But again, we would have got to the year if she was here. She Manu. If she's not here, the draft board recently finished is rising. Look, there's 2 ways things could have went. That's all I'm saying. You got arguably the best big in the league. What are we doing? What are we doing? I love Diana. However, right, it's been like a 3-year long farewell tour. Just being completely honest.
It's looking like Kobe at the end of his road. But at least Kobe was going to get 60, 25. She looking bad, man. She's looking bad the last few years, like you said.
Just slowly, and probably what should have happened the last few years, she should have been off that super sub the last 3 years, probably. She's 41. The mileage is the mileage, right? You should have probably had a better plan in place the last few years, but you're here now. Shout out to Coach Blue. Hopefully, she's able to take advantage of the opportunity, and maybe, who knows, the front office will wake up and maybe try to make something shake. But yeah, looking at their rosters, that's what they chose to go with. However, but it is 2023. There's no reason for DT to be playing more than like 18 a night.
Hey, yo. So since the 2019 season when she averaged 4, because she had I think she's playing through a bad injury. Um, when she shot, she only played 6 games and she shut it down. She hasn't shot over 40% in any season from the field. Like nothing, bro. And it's sad because in her prime she was 45 plus. I'm looking at it, man. 3 points, she was up like 39, 37, 40, 30, like, oh, she ain't got the legs no more. That's what it does. This is literally outside that season where she shut it down because she was injured. It's another year, 2012, where she was injured because she only played single-digit games in both those years. This is her worst season of her career. Oh, she been in the league since I was in college. Seriously, 2004. Like, bruh, you feel me? It's a wrap, man.
And that's all it is, just being honest. There's nothing wrong with this. It's time. It's what happens. She's 41. She's done a lot. She has done a lot in her career. And I don't wish to remember her like this. No. So there's so many good memories. I'm just being honest. Like,
you saw Sue got out.
Look what Sue did. Sue was like, well, you know it's about that time. Exit stage left. They was holding on for man. Look, just we'll see what happens with the Mercury the rest of the season. But yeah, those discussions should have been had before the draft, heading into this year. But it is what it is. We will see you guys next week. As always, appreciate y'all tuning in. Don't forget, our Roku channel is being updated, but still should be published again, I think, tomorrow. So. Wednesday 9 a.m. again as usual. You know it's on our Roku channel. If you have a Roku television or device, all you have to do is type in the Focus TV in your search box, double tap OK. If you're in the city and you have access to your DC TV, Friday nights at 10 p.m., Saturday at 4:30 p.m., or you can just go to dctv.org and just watch it on their website. Y'all have a great week. We'll see you soon.